84% of enterprise leaders believe they're executing their strategy effectively. Yet only 16% of those same executives report hitting their 3-year growth targets. That gap isn't a luck problem. It's a decision architecture problem. Here's what that gap actually means for you in the boardroom. You've got a solid strategy. Your team has clarity on direction. Resources are allocated. But somewhere between the quarterly business reviews and the market, momentum dies. Growth stalls. Market share stays flat. Competitors who moved slower somehow ended up ahead. The stress of this compounds. You start questioning your instincts. You add more reporting layers. You demand faster execution. And the system gets slower, not faster. Boards get nervous. Shareholders start asking uncomfortable questions. And if you're operating in the Southeast Asia or India market, where velocity and adaptability are your only true competitive advantages, this lag becomes lethal. You're up against founders and scale-ups with zero bureaucracy. They move in weeks. You move in quarters. The worst part: most of these growth killers aren't external. They're not market failure or bad timing. They're built into how your organization makes decisions. In the next 9 minutes, we're going to decode 5 of the most destructive strategic mistakes we see in enterprises today. Not the obvious ones. The hidden ones. The ones that look reasonable in a spreadsheet but strangle growth in real execution. Each of these mistakes has a specific antidote. We're going to walk through the mistake, show you how to spot it in your own organization, and give you the exact framework to reverse it. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your growth is slower than it should be, and you'll have a diagnostic tool to start fixing it this quarter. This isn't theory. This is what we're seeing across the Singapore, India, and broader Asia-Pacific markets right now, where the difference between executing at 90% and 95% is the difference between leading your category and becoming irrelevant. Let's start. Mistake 1. Confusing alignment with autonomy. Here's the truth that most organizations miss. You cannot have both perfect alignment and fast execution. These are opposing forces. Yet most enterprises try to force both, and they end up with neither. According to McKinsey's 2025 research on organizational agility, companies that prioritized cross-functional alignment above speed saw a 23% slower time to market on new initiatives compared to organizations that trusted individual teams with clear outcome ownership. Alignment feels safer. It looks good in governance reviews. But it's a growth tax. Think of what happened at a major Southeast Asian conglomerate that we worked with. They had 12 different divisions, all perfectly aligned on the 5-year corporate strategy. Every decision required sign-off from 3 levels of leadership. Innovation meetings had representatives from finance, legal, HR, and procurement before anyone even sketched a product idea. The result? A competitor who operated with a distributed model and clear outcome ownership launched 4 products in the time this organization launched 1. 2 of those 4 products are now their category leaders. Here's the application. Define outcomes, not processes. Tell your team the target revenue, the margin floor, and the customer segment. Tell them the constraints. Then get out of the way. Let different teams optimize their path to the outcome differently. You'll get faster execution, smarter iterations, and ironically, better alignment. Because alignment born from shared outcomes is stronger than alignment born from governance. Mistake 2. Betting on incremental innovation while markets are shifting. This one is particularly sharp for enterprises in the Asia-Pacific region, because the pace of market disruption here is different. It's faster, it's more brutal, and incremental innovation can't compete. Recent research from Deloitte in 2026 shows that companies deriving more than 30% of revenue from products launched in the last 3 years are outpacing their peers on growth velocity by an average of 41%. But here's the painful part. 87% of enterprise R&D budgets are still allocated to defending existing product lines, not building new ones. You see this across the region. A major Indian fintech incumbent was dominating retail banking 10 years ago. They were profitable, efficient, and focused on optimizing their core business model. Meanwhile, newer entrants weren't trying to win in the same game. They were building different games. By 2025, the incumbents' market share had halved. Not because they failed, but because they optimized for yesterday's competitive landscape. The application here is structural. You need 2 separate innovation budgets with separate P&L accountability. One is defending and optimizing your core business. That's mission critical. But it should not consume more than 70% of your innovation resources. 30% needs to be ring-fenced for building future business models. Different incentives, different timelines, different risk tolerance. Most enterprises don't have this separation, and it shows in their growth rates. Mistake 3. Overweighting past performance data in future decisions. This is the analytical trap that catches the smartest organizations. You've built incredible data infrastructure. You have dashboards. You have predictive models. You have 5 years of historical performance data. So when you're making a strategic choice, you lean on what the numbers tell you. And the numbers almost always point backward. According to IDC research from 2025, organizations that use historical data as their primary input for strategic decisions are 3 times more likely to miss emerging market shifts. The data tells you what worked. It doesn't tell you what will work. Here's the example that keeps us up at night. A major Singapore-based B2B services company invested heavily in their biggest customer segment, based on 7 years of profitable history in that segment. The data was compelling. The economics were proven. So they went all in. Meanwhile, their smallest customer segment, which represented only 8% of revenue, was showing unusual adoption patterns and higher net dollar retention. The data said protect the core. The market was saying bet on the edge. By the time this company course corrected, competitors had already captured that emerging segment, and it's now worth 15% of the total addressable market. The application is methodological. Create a forcing function. Every strategic decision has to include 2 inputs. What does historical data tell us, and what are we observing that contradicts or extends that data? Make the outliers and weak signals part of your formal decision process, not an afterthought. The market often announces its shifts to the careful observer before the data confirms them. Let's paint the picture of what your organization looks like when you start fixing these 3 mistakes. Your strategic decisions now move at the speed your market demands, not the speed your governance structure allows. That doesn't mean reckless. It means your teams have clear outcomes, bounded autonomy, and the confidence to optimize their own execution path. Your meetings get shorter, your decision-making gets faster, and your people experience something rare in large organizations. They feel trusted. Your innovation pipeline is split. You're defending your core business exceptionally well, but you're not suffocating the future. You're investing in emerging customer segments, new business models, and adjacent markets without cannibalizing the revenue that keeps the company stable. Your growth line doesn't flatten when markets shift. It bends. You're resilient. Your strategic conversations change tone entirely. You're no longer debating what the dashboard says. You're looking at the dashboard as one input among several. And you're asking harder questions. What patterns aren't showing up yet? What customers are asking for that we haven't operationalized? What edges are moving faster than expected? Your competitive advantage shifts from being fast at optimizing what you know to being fast at recognizing what you don't. The result? Your 3-year growth targets don't stay on the wall next to your desk as aspirations. They become baseline expectations. Your organization moves at the speed of the market you operate in, not at the speed your structure allows. This is happening right now in Southeast Asia and India. Organizations are either learning to move with precision at speed, or they're getting displaced by competitors who have. The gap is widening monthly. If you've recognized one of these mistakes in your own organization, and I suspect you have, you need the next level of this work. In our next video, we're breaking down the specific organizational structure that allows enterprises to move at true speed without losing governance or control. It's not matrix. It's not flat. It's something different. And it's what the fastest growing regional companies are actually using. Subscribe now. Hit the notification bell. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If these insights resonated with you, please subscribe to Apex Minds D4. Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to Apex Minds D4J for more powerful insights. See you in the next one.